Most goals in a single playoff series. Jari Kurri holds the record for the most goals scored in a single playoff series, scoring 12 goals for the Edmonton Oilers in the 1985 Stanley Cup Finals against the Philadelphia Flyers. Maurice Richard, the economics of his contract negotiations and salaries. When discussing the greatest players in NHL history, Maurice Richard is a name that often comes to mind. Known as the Rocket, Richard was a dominant force on the ice during his playing days with the Montreal Canadiens. However, Richard's legacy also extends beyond his performance on the ice, as he was one of the first players in the NHL to truly understand the economics of contract negotiations and salaries. Richard's career spanned from 1942 to 1960, a time when the NHL was still in its early stages of growth and development. During this time, player salaries were significantly lower than what we see in today's NHL. However, Richard was able to navigate the complexities of contract negotiations and secure himself fair compensation for his skills and contributions to the game. One of the key factors that allowed Richard to negotiate favorable contracts was his on-ice performance. Richard was a prolific goal scorer, known for his speed, accuracy, and scoring ability. His ability to consistently put up impressive numbers on the ice made him a valuable asset to the Canadiens organization, and he leveraged this value in contract negotiations. Another factor that played a role in Richard's success in contract negotiations was his understanding of the business side of the game. Richard was one of the first players to recognize the potential financial benefits of being a high-profile player in the NHL. He understood that his value extended beyond his performance on the ice, and he was able to monetize his fame through endorsements, appearances, and other opportunities. Richard was also not afraid to advocate for himself and his worth. He was known for being a fierce competitor on the ice, and he brought that same competitive spirit to the negotiating table. Richard was not willing to settle for less than he believed he was worth, and he was not afraid to push back against team management to secure fair compensation. In addition to his performance on the ice and his understanding of the business side of the game, Richard also benefited from the support of his agent. Richard was one of the first players in the NHL to work with an agent to negotiate his contracts, and this relationship proved to be instrumental in securing favorable deals for him. His agent was able to leverage Richard's value as a player and help him secure contracts that reflected that value. Overall, Maurice Richard's success in contract negotiations and securing fair salaries was a combination of factors. His on-ice performance, understanding of the business side of the game, willingness to advocate for himself, and support from his agent all played a role in his ability to secure fair compensation for his skills and contributions to the game. As we look back on Maurice Richard's legacy, we can see how he set a precedent for future generations of players in the NHL. His understanding of the economics of contract negotiations and salaries paved the way for players to advocate for fair compensation and secure deals that reflect their value to the game. Maurice Richard was not only a legend on the ice, but he was also a pioneer in the business side of the game, leaving a lasting impact on the NHL and its players.